Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the pits of Motor Chaos. This is your host, Dave, and I got a line of special guest, top alcohol funny car driver, Fred Tigges. How you doing, Fred?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good. Glad to finally get rid of the flu and bronchitis.
Yeah, that's been a real problem with everybody, I guess.
Yeah, I heard bronchitis is going around now.
Lovely.
Yeah. So, Fred, how'd the 2019 season go for you with the funny car?
Yeah, we did all right. We were fourth in the East, so we only went to a few races. It's kind of getting out of hand financially if you paid attention.
Yeah, it'd be even worse if you were doing nitro.
Well, yeah, that's just out of the question. You need Walmart or somebody.
Yeah. So now, how about this year? How many events are you planning on hitting?
We'll do all the regional races in the Eastern Division like we always try to do. Breakage stuff like that. Sometimes you can't make a race, but this actually last year and this year they've spread them apart pretty good, and we get to start a little earlier this year at Echo, New Jersey, in the 1st of May, so that makes it a little better. Because up here in the Northeast, the snow's not too bad, but it's still pretty cold, early in the spring,
So, Fred, what's the fastest pass you've made with that funny car?
555, 262 miles an hour.
And what track was that at?
Once at Epping, and just recently in the first round at Maple Grove last year. Ran 55. So that's what I've been working on. I've been working on changing the compression ratio and different camshafts, and keeps you busy. Looking for a little more and a little more and a little more.
Yeah, you always got that need for speed, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, it's one guy's cottage on a lake, or or a big boat, or just a fool and his money soon parts, right?
So now let me rewind the clock with you, friend, and ask you, how did you get into drag racing, and what year did you start drag racing?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I've been racing my own car since '96, but in the middle '80s, helping other people, just because you're a car guy, you get involved with other friends and whatnot, and you make new friends. And cars have always been like my hobby. I was a kid in high school with a '55 Chevy, that sort of thing. And then the father-son project, we just decided, let's see, I was 49, my son was like 21. We just bought a bunch of tubing and a tubing bender and built a car. That's kind of how it all worked out. It's always been like a hobby for my son and I. And it's moved on to other things, like he learned to weld really well, so we started a welding company, and, we moved on to union company and do big buildings, and we weld all the seismic connections and stuff like that. That's what we actually do for a living. The racing's actually just it's out in the garage out back.
So you've been a union guy your whole life, huh?
No, not really. Just a good part of it, but not the whole time. No, just automotive stuff. I built a lot of engines for people. I had this little engine shop, Then we got rid of all of that. And then we built the funny car, and it's just I've had a great time. Good run of it. Really had a blast.
So you like working union?
Well, if you know anything about it, if you're here in Massachusetts, you better be in the union. You won't get any work really. You won't get too much to do. It's pretty solid here, in this democratic state,
Yes, fuck the Democrats. We need we need everybody to go red.
Well, it's no politics, no religion,
Yeah. That's one thing I noticed about most of the drag racers. Most of the drag racers seem to like Trump.
Yeah, well, because all of us, anybody well-to-do today, has a 401 and, and your savings and all of that, geez, I think we're up since he got elected, I think we're up like about 28%. You know, that's quite a bit. You know, consider it. You didn't make anything for the previous like 12 years or so. You know, not anything really appreciative. You know.
Yeah.
So he's doing a good. You know, I mean, most people. I think he's doing a pretty good job. The rest of this is I don't understand why. I mean, all of these people that complain and back and forth on both sides, they just seem so juvenile.
Yep.
Maybe they need a job. You have to make fun of it because if you take it serious, you know what I mean, you'll be depressed. You know?
Yeah. So.
No, just looking forward to going racing again, you know, because everything all goes away when you're racing, you know.
Yeah.
Like we got good crew guys, and you know, let's see, one's from Maine, another one's from North Carolina. Guys I've known for years, you know.
So you got 2 crew guys?
No, we got. Let's see, it starts out. Let's see, me, I'm the driver, my wife, Claire, my son Mark, my good friend for many years, Dave Birch. He used to work for GMC. He did all the shows for GMC in Michigan, and now he's retired. He lives in North Carolina. And Chris Solinaire from Maine. He's the guy that writes in Top Alcohol. He writes Tigges Talk. It's a Top Alcohol. It's on Top Alcohol all the time in their Pit Buzz area. And then another guy that is a diesel guy. He's Rick Tommaso. He lives far away. You know, it's funny. We all got together to do this. You know.
So my wife's saying you sound Italian. Are you Italian?
No, actually German.
They sound the same.
She said it sounds the same.
My wife's Italian. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Well, yeah, Tom's wife made him into mafia then.
She said your wife made you into mafia.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. The girl that lives out back told me over the fence I was the guy on, what was that show? They'd always talked over the fence. You never saw his face.
Robert De Niro?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So after all these years, Fred, what keeps you passionate about drag racing?
I don't know. I think it's an addiction. I think they're all right, you know. Actually, it's, well, let's see. I've been doing it, we decided to build a car because I decided anyway to build a car because I was 49 years old. I figured, well, if I'm going to build one of those cars, I better do it now. And that was in, started in 94. I'm 72 now. I still drive. It's a blast, you know. It's just something you don't ever get over. But of course, you know, with the motorcycles and, you know, street cars, and I owned a Corvette for a while, and it's in your blood, I think, you know. You just like the speed, you know.
So you're the same age as the president.
Oh, is that how old he is?
Yeah.
No, he's 73.
Sometimes when he talks, I think he's about 12.
Trump's 73.
Yeah.
Trump's 73.
Then you got the Greek. He's like 80 something.
Oh yeah. Was he? I don't think anybody really knows how old he is. I've heard that talk around the pits, you know, at some of the national events we go to. But I think 81 or 82, something like that. I think.
I'm sorry to interrupt the show, but to correct everyone's mistake, Trump is 73, going on 74 this year.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. He's older than me, so I'll be respectful.
But he sure can run around doing all those rallies and stuff, though.
Guy's got a lot of energy.
Oh, yeah.
Got a lot of energy.
Taking all the arrows from the Democrats and everything, it's ridiculous.
Where are you, in Illinois or Indiana?
Yeah, Illinois.
Illinois, okay. Chicago?
Close.
Yeah.
So you have a bulletproof vest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy here. It's crazy. Drag racing's great. It's really. I think all forms of racing are great. You know, I always wanted to see or get a chance to drive one of them outlaw sprint cars. You know what I mean? But I never hooked up with anybody that was involved in that. But they have them out around your way, right?
Yeah.
Keep the motor rolling.
So now, when you first got into drag racing, like crewing and stuff like that, were there any drivers that inspired you?
Well, I used to go to the track. I used to take my young son when he was 5 or 6 years old to go see Jungle Jim, you know what I mean, and Lou Arrington, and in New Hampshire, you know. at New England Dragway, you know, because they used to have, it used to be great back then. They had 4 or 5 match races a year for alcohol cars, and then, of course, they'd bring in all those guys, you know what I mean? There'd be 30 cars there, you know. It just shows you how it just isn't that way anymore because of the cost, I believe. You need to have a major sponsor, you know. Even the alcohol car, to run an alcohol car competitively to try and be a champion, you know, it costs you $350,000 a year. That's a lot of money, you know, to dump on a car when it pays $1,700 to win. I mean, $1,700 first round and $5,000 to win. It's certainly not a financial good thing to do, you know. So that's why it's a hobby, you know. It's a hobby.
Now, have you ever ran with the Great Lakes Nostalgia Funny Car Circuit?
No, but my friend Dave Birch did. One of the crew guys. He had a car years ago, and he ran in that Great Lakes thing.
Yeah, it seems like a cool thing they do at the Keystone with all the, like, 30 funny cars, alcohol funny cars.
Yeah, right. Well, I got involved a couple of years ago with some friends of mine that have a couple of nostalgia cars now. You know what I mean? In fact, I'm building 2 motors for them right now. That's kind of, I was impressed at some of those, like the Dover Drags in Lebanon, New York, you know, which is a throwback to like the old time Dover drag strip or something, you know. And I was quite impressed with the amount of people that are involved. You know, there's a lot of good people and it's a cheaper way to do it, you know.
Yeah. So Fred, what was the experience like for you the first time ever getting the behind wheel of a alcohol funny car?
Well, for me it was, you know, they shut the hood and you say to yourself, you know, what am I doing in here until you do the burnout? And then if you do the burnout and you like it, well, it never goes away. That's kind of how that was. That's kind of like the most fun. It's funny, you know, when I got licensed, I think I went 644 or something like that, got a license, and for the two full runs that you have to make. And after that, it never seemed really all that much faster. You just got there quicker. So it's almost, you know, a time thing, you know, that actually goes by. And of course, you never really know how quick you're going until you get in trouble. When you get in trouble, you realize that, you know, what I can say about it is like, you know, if you skid on ice, right? You know that feeling you get that you're out of control?
Yeah.
Well, that's when something goes wrong, that's what it feels like. And you really realize that, you know what I mean? You're doing something you shouldn't be doing, probably. But it comes across your brain like that.
So
other than that, it's a blast, you know. I mean, I still pass the physical at my age, you know what I mean, and all of that. So it's good, you know. It's probably kept me healthy for years, you know, doing something like that. You're always working on it, or always planning, you know, that sort of thing.
That's awesome. Now,
yeah, it is.
Now, my wife wanted me to ask you, how about when you're out in the street in your regular car? Do you any burnouts? You screech your tires out on the roads?
No, I don't have anything that would do that. although I did a couple of years ago, I bought one of those Harley Davidson street rod motorcycles, and I rode that for a little bit. But when you get to a certain age, it gives you cramps.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been good, though. You know, back in in 1969, we built a Pro Stock Camaro, me and another guy. We raced that for a couple of years till we blew it all up, and then that went away for a while. And, of course, you're raising a family and all of that, you know, you just didn't have the time or the wherewithal, you know, I mean, all the time to feed it, you know.
Yeah. So how many kids you got?
Two. My daughter works for Wells Fargo. She's been in London, England for, I don't know, 5-6 years now. And my son still runs a welding company.
Now,
Fred gets to play with his race car.
So, now, did the 2 kids ever get into drag racing?
I don't know. Mark will probably drive it eventually. I don't know. He's just too busy. You know, he can drive it anytime he wants. I'm sure he will. I don't know about my daughter. You know what I mean? She's a real, you know, corporate guy. You know.
You got any grandkids?
No, they don't have any children at all.
What are you waiting for?
No, my son just got married a year ago, and So he's not around as much as he used to be. Off and on he is, and my daughter hasn't been married yet.
You need some grandkids to become some junior dragsters.
Oh, I know. Well, listen, I'd love to, but it's not my call.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not your call. That's what it is.
Yeah. Some people are lucky, some aren't.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. You know, you don't. When you get to a certain point, you know, you don't really pay much attention to that. Right now, I'm just concerned about going racing this year, and you know, keep it going for another few years. You know, the treadmill. You know what I mean? Eat healthy, all that stuff. You know, everything that everybody talks about when they're 40, but doesn't do it till they're 70.
Don't go vegan.
Yeah, just don't go vegan.
Yeah, well, I'm not interested in a seaweed hamburger. It doesn't inspire me at all. But that's the way it is.
So now, when you're out on a track, Fred, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions at all?
No, none at all. I pack my own shoes. That's about it. I guess you could call that one, right?
Yeah. So what design do you have? What design do you have on your shoes?
No. My wife said, "What kind of designs do you have on your shoes?"
What kind of what?
What kind of designs do you have on your shoes?
Parachutes.
Your parachutes.
They don't have any designs. They're just who's on their Strouds. They're just black. Yeah, they don't have any designs on them. It would kind of be neat, though. I'll have to think about that.
Tom and Jerry would be cool.
My wife said Tom and Jerry would be cool for the parachutes.
Yeah, that would be cool, yeah. Well, the thing is what you end up doing is this costs so much that, you know, you as soon as you start thinking about, you know, doing something cute, you know what I mean, it's going to cost $500 or whatever, you can think about, you know, well, I should get another set of rods, or I need, you know, a set of some valve springs. It's always something like that when you're funding it on your own, you know.
Yeah.
We don't have any sponsors or anything, you know. So, besides, who wants to pay for an old man to have fun? It's kind of humorous, but.
Well, if anyone's listening right now and they want to sponsor the old man, there you go.
Well, feel free to give anybody my number if they're interested. Well, but I don't think this. Well, you never know. You know, it used to be years ago. Like now, if you you know, somebody's product, you know, you put the decal on your car or something like that. And now, you know, like you're a runner-up or you win a race or something, and they want to see a receipt. You know, a lot of them want to see a receipt that you buy something this year. You know, so we just decided, well, we don't need the $100 that pass. I like the paint on the car.
Like the Trump racers.
Now, you ever see that one funny car, the one Clint Thompson had, the Trump car?
Oh, yeah, I know Clint pretty well. Yeah, now he raises marijuana plants.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Clint's a cool guy. I see Alexis is coming back this year in Nitro car.
Yep.
So I was next in line when she went off the end at Englishtown.
Yeah, that's when we need more funny cars. There's too many Top Fuel dragsters.
Yeah, they're all right. A lot of them guys, you know, the guys that really run well, like the Forces and whatnot, they make sure that they hand down a lot of good parts to a lot of these guys that are on the low end of the spectrum in Nitro.
Yeah.
But the alcohol is still a closed class kind of. You know, if you want any help from anybody, you got to pay them.
So now, for you, Fred, what kind of preparation goes in getting ready for a weekend of racing?
Oh, it's actually we take the whole car apart every time we come home, put it all back together. You know, engine oil apart, pistons out. Almost like the fuel car guys do between rounds, just looking to make sure everything's in good condition. You know what I mean? You know, something's not going wrong. The tune-ups are so critical, you know, especially today, if you really want to run fast. You know what I mean? You can get off a little bit very easily and cause some damage. You know, so you want to make sure that everything's still looking good. And then of course, you know, if you hurt a ring land on the piston or something like that, or you know the wrist pin gets loose in the end of the rod, you want to make sure that you change all that stuff. So you look at that, and then of course all the clutch grinding stuff. You know what I mean? You got, let's see, you got at a divisional, you got probably 6 or 7 runs. And, you know, so now you got to have 2 floaters and 3 clutch discs for every run. So you got to machine all that stuff, make sure it's all flat. That takes time. And then, you know, every other race or so, you know, take the transmission apart, check the clutches in the transmission and the gears, you know, and the planetaries and stuff like that. And then, you know, a couple times a year, take the rear end out, make sure it's not cracking, because they do. That sort of thing, that's all. Tire balance, load it in the trailer, put all the tools back in, make sure you got enough oil, gas everything up, get food.
Yeah.
Because it's a picnic, you know. We have a motorhome too. We stay at the racetrack, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's cost so much now for. I remember years ago we got started. You get a hotel room real easy, you know. It's kind of neat. Now it's, especially if you go to a national event, they want you to take 3 days or 4 days, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Make sure you still stay, you know. And then they want advance money and stuff. So it's just easier to stay there, and then you can use the thing for other things too. You know, like go to the beach, fishing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense to do that. Most alcohol races today are doing that. You know?
So now, Fred, what are some of your favorite tracks to race on?
Oh, all of them. All of them. We don't go to any real match races like the nostalgia guys do. We just run the regular NHRA tracks. New Hampshire's a real good track. It was a real shame we lost Englishtown. That was a great place to go. For years, it was a great place to go. You know what I mean? And we've been to Indy. We were runner-up at Indy one year. Manzo beat me, like he beat me about 400 times. But, you know, all of them, most of the tracks are really good, you know, and they all do a good job preparing them. So there's really no real complaints, you know.
Have you ever been to Route 66?
No, I've never been there. Never been there. But we were going to go one year. I'm in the Jegs All-Stars because we finish well most of the time, and we just never went. Well, are you near there?
Yeah, we're not that far from Route 66. So now, have you ever done 8th mile racing?
No, never did. Never did. I know some people who have, you know, the racing like Lancaster, New York. That's an 8th mile track. There's one in Oxford Plains, Maine. But you know what it is. There's not, most of us guys that run like the regular NHRA thing. It costs so much to run the car. It's really not worth it to go somewhere where the traction or the bumps. You know, you hit it with a screw blower on. You know, we're up around 10,000 RPM when you change gears, and you hit a bump or something like that, the motor can easily run away. So it can be very expensive, and it's just not, in the long run, financially, it's not that any of it's worth it, but it's less worth it. So we just never did that. We've just never been to any of those.
Now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
Well, I have Simpson stuff. That's what I wear. And let's see, the fire bottles are Stroud, and Dennis Taylor for all the engine covers and the transmission cover. Trick Titanium's the Bellhausen, Crow is the clutch, that sort of thing.
Now, what would you consider to be some of the milestones of your racing career so far?
Geez, that's a good question. I never look at it like that. So, just doing it is what I've always told people when they ask me why. Just being able to do it is a biggie. Even if you don't do well, you know, it's just great being able to, you know, all the guys, you know, with the talking and drinking beer and, you know, all that sort of thing. But, you know, we've had some runner-ups, and when we raced IHRA for years, and Norwalk was my favorite track at the time. And, we were runner-up like 11 times. Only won one. In about 12 years we raced it, but we were runner-up 11 times. Something would always go wrong, It's just kind of how this game is. I think a luck, when you hear one of these guys say luck has a lot to do with it, they're absolutely right.
Now, throughout your racing career, have you had any accidents or close calls?
Lots of close calls, but no accidents.
Well, knock on wood, right? You won't have any.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I've got I could tell you a story there. A lot of times it seems like God's on our side, like one time the car wouldn't start at the start line. That's only happened about 3 times in my entire career. The car wouldn't run. So the car wouldn't run. We couldn't get it to start. So we towed it back to the pits. And when we were putting it in the trailer, we found the left front wheel had a big crack in it.
Wow.
Stuff like that, just silly stuff, Get home, do the maintenance, and find that it was about ready to spin an engine bearing, which would have tossed a rod out of it, all of that. We've been very lucky that way. So I guess that's because we do a lot of maintenance,
Now, can you think of one most embarrassing moment you've had on the track?
No, I don't think so. Not that I would call embarrassing. No, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever had an embarrassing moment.
Wow.
Other than a red light or something, you could call, you could call embarrassing. But, we've never made any dumb mistakes. No. Not that we'd admit to either.
Now, outside the sport of drag racing, do you have any other hobbies?
No, just fishing.
Fishing's fun.
Drag racing takes up all your time, trust me.
What do you like to fish for?
Oh, stripers.
Striper?
So right on we're almost, I'm only about 4 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, so there's all kinds of inland waterways and whatnot, to fish in when they're feeding, So that's a gas.
We catch those all the time. Tell them that.
Yeah, we catch a lot of striped bass.
It's in our backyard. We got a lake in our backyard.
A lot of striped bass, a lot of largemouth and catfish.
Yeah. My son's a big striped bass fisherman. He really goes for largemouths. That's what he likes to do. I like to cook. I dabble at cooking and stuff like that too. So, I like to eat.
You're a cook?
Well, I'm not a cook, but I like to cook.
Okay.
You got to be careful what you admit to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, as far as top Baca funny car racing, do you have a greatest competitor with those guys?
No, it used to be because when it was regular division racing before it was regional. Manzo beat everybody, so everybody was always after him, and very few of us ever got him. But that's about it. We're all in the same boat. The problem, part of the problem with it today is it's like you need one of those new Camaro bodies, which is about $35,000 away, and there's only a few that will spend the money, because that body's like 5-6 miles faster, 5-6 miles an hour faster than the competitive Monte Carlo body, which is what we have. So that translates into probably half a tenth, something like that, ET. So it's pretty tough. So that means you got to be on your game on the starting line.
Now, have you won any Wallies in your career?
Any what, Wallies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've won, since we switched over to NHRA with a screw blower, we won Lebanon Valley once, and we were runner-up at Maple Grove, and we were runner-up at Lebanon Valley again.
Now, Fred, if you were able to time travel and go back in the time, would you do anything differently with your drag racing career?
Yeah, I would have got a lot more money first before I started. That's about it.
Now, as far as the sport of drag racing goes, do you have anything on a bucket list that you would still like to accomplish, hopefully one day?
No, I did already. The bucket list was we wanted to go to Las Vegas and Pomona. We did that 2011. I believe it was 2011. we went out to Las Vegas to run the national event, which is in Halloween time, and then run the points race after that, and then drive over to Pomona and run that race. So we did that. That was kind of a bucket list. And, of course, Indy was, too. We've been to Indy, 4 or 5 times. But we haven't gone recently. Actually, because of business, it's hard to get away. It really is, You can't turn down, I'm sorry, I can't help you, and I'm going racing.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you could, but you can't do that. So it's just, so, like I said, it's just a hobby thing, so we've done pretty well. We've had a lot of fun doing it. It's been a real family thing, which is what it's supposed to be, I guess. That's what they always said. So that's why we jumped in the lake,
You ready for some fun questions, though?
Okay, go ahead.
What is your favorite food to eat?
Prime rib.
You're a prime rib guy, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Now, does your wife make a good prime rib?
No, I do.
So what's your favorite dish that your wife makes?
Well, she's Italian, so just, I don't know, they call it aglio or something. It's just like pasta with garlic and oil.
All right, what's your favorite beverage? It could be non-alcoholic or alcohol, or both.
Oh, Coors Light.
Coors Light for alcohol.
Coors Light.
Now, how about non-alcoholic beverage?
Oh, what do I like non-alcohol? Water. I don't drink soda, so.
Coors Light makes me think about Tom the Mongoose McEwen's Coors car.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yep, that Coors
Light. The baseball player, what was his, Jack, I think what his name was. Well, he had a dragster with Coors Light on it, too. Anyway, it's not important.
Now, do you have a favorite movie of all time?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, good old Indiana Jones, huh?
Yeah.
Now,
well, up until that time, there wasn't anything like it.
Yeah.
Unless you were a Star Wars guy or something,
Yep. You like Star Wars?
It's okay. I think all the later ones don't have the same kick as the originals,
Yeah. Now, what is your favorite music?
Oh, rock and roll.
Good old rock and roll, huh?
Yeah, what do you want, some names? Bob Dylan, Frank Zappa, Neil Young. I'm one of those. I grew up in the 60s.
Yep. Yeah, Russ Never Sleeps, Neil Young, that's a great song.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, when you were growing up as a little kid, Fred, did you have a favorite cartoon? Don't tell me you're going to say Roadrunner.
A favorite cartoon? Well, those were always favorites, but Bugs Bunny.
Most of the drag racers say Roadrunner.
Do they? They were good. I like the Roadrunner. But Bugs Bunny.
Then I got a couple of times Speed Racer.
I don't think I ever saw one of those. Maybe I did. I don't remember.
Then I got...
They were the cartoons you're much younger than I am, so you probably see more of those kinds of cartoons than I did.
Yeah, I'm 51.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's 20 years.
Yeah. Then you get a lot of guys for favorite movie, they pick American Graffiti.
Okay. Yeah, that was okay. American Graffiti was okay. I like that 58 Chevy. My father had one just like it.
Now, when you're at the track for a day of racing, Fred, what's your eating habits? Do you eat regularly? Or do you eat very light till the races are done?
Yeah. You don't eat as much as you would eat normally, But you eat,
Yeah, you got to be able to fit into that fire suit.
Well, yeah, I suppose that I don't know. You wait. I don't care who you are. Your weight gets stable at some point. You know what I mean, and you fit in it anyway because you don't overeat. That's why I drink Coors Light. I want to fit in my fire suit.
Now, if you weren't doing drag racing, what would you think you'd be doing for hobbies?
Sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting like our old man taking the naps all the time.
No, no. Actually, I don't. I've got plenty to do. Plenty. I own a house. I own a house, and the shop's behind the house. There's plenty to do. Something's always breaking. Something always needs to be fixed.
Now, what would you consider to be the fondest memory of your drag racing career?
My fondest memory?
Yeah, your fondest memory.
Doing it with my family.
So the kids, when they were younger, they used to go to the races all the time?
Not all the time, but a lot of the time. My son always went, you know what I mean? But not all, you know, but it's just great, you know, like we have our own little thing going on, you know. So it's a good thing. I recommend it to doing something like that for anybody. You know, it keeps it all together, you know, like Sunday dinners and stuff like that.
Now, if people are listening to the interview and they want to find out where you're going to be racing at, what's the best way for them to find the schedule?
We don't really put out a schedule, but we'll be at every the East Regional event this year, and we always kind of go to Maple Grove or Charlotte, you know, at the end of the year. But the rest of it's kind of a pick 'em because, like I said, you know, we're in business. You just can't decide you're going to go somewhere and run away. Although we used to have a website and somebody used to take care of it, that sort of thing, but we haven't done that in years. So it's difficult. Like I said, it's a hobby. We're not a professional racing team as such. Although we do have nice stuff.
Now, Fred, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, I don't know. Do I have a pet peeve? Yeah, I do. Politicians.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave. End the show.
All right. Well, Fred, I want to thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
Oh, that's okay. I hope I did it well for you.
No, it's beautiful.
Okay.
Now, do you have any final words or thank yous you want to do before we close?
Let's see. No, I guess I don't. Except,
don't want to thank your wife or anybody?
Vote Republican.
Yes, vote red.
That's right. Vote red.
We need.
All right. Take care, Dave.
You too. Have a great night.